How's it going, everyone? This is the first episode of Beer League Rebound. First podcast, first kick at the can. Just gonna try and hop right into this, and I got a bit of experience working with friends, but I have a twist of this. I'm doing this as a solo podcast. Yes, that's going to be extremely difficult, but I got told I can talk a lot, so hopefully I'm able to entertain everyone who is listening to this, and everyone can bear with me as I learn the process of doing stuff like this. Now, Beer League Rebound. I am getting a little intro about myself. I've played hockey for 15 years. My name is Bryce. 15 years of playing hockey, 13 years as a goalie, and I suck. I just love the game, but I am nowhere. I'm horrible. I can't. But I love the game, and I have so much fun still to this day, even playing in beer league. And I love to improve, even still at beer league level now, and just watching everyone else have fun, still learning of the game. It's a lot of fun. So don't be surprised if I talk a lot about beer league hockey on this podcast, just because it's a big part of my life. It's like my type of therapy is going to the rink and, playing these games. And even if I play horrible and all that, it's just a great time for me. But I absolutely love it. I'm really big into trying to make hockey as a career. It's a very competitive field, but I'm very confident I can make it as a career. So a little backstory about myself. This year I was a team manager for a Bantam AA team, the Calgary Royals. I got a lot of experience working with them. It was a volunteer based, but like anything else, it was a great networking job and allowed me to expand my horizon with people and, learn a lot that I thought I knew, but I didn't know. Learning the business side of hockey is a lot of fun, but it's just a lot more than just the actual game, which I think everyone knows that. And I also, during my time working with the Royals, got on with Global Sports as an event coordinator or event assistant. I get to run the events for the athletes, simple stuff, setup, takedowns, and anything like that. But it's another great tool I'm using to allow myself to get into this business and networking. And I don't work a lot with them. And with everything going on in the world right now, I won't be working for a very long time with them. But that's okay, because I've had nothing but great times with the shifts I worked there and nothing but great compliments. As I was mentioning before, sorry, I had to pause there. I am working with Global Sports, event coordinator, great time, lots of learning from that. And I'm just, having a great time with hockey all around as general. It's honestly so much fun, and being able to go to the rink every day is probably one of the. Actually, no, it is the best thing that's ever happened to me. There's nothing else I love more than going to every hockey rink in Calgary these last couple of months and getting to learn everything and seeing how everyone works, and there's nothing better. I truly think I'm starting to have more fun learning more about hockey this way than actually playing. I still love to play, but I have more fun doing this stuff now than what I thought I ever would. And it's just, and it just kind of sucks how this virus stuff that's going around. I know there's a lot more other things in life than just, hockey. Like we all need to take care of each other right now, but it just all sucks because everyone had something going. Hockey was getting very exciting, and then it just all got taken away very quickly. But that's like anything else that's going on in the world right now. So I got a feel for lots of those other people. And that's just another thing I want with this podcast is I'm going to talk about hockey news and stuff like that. I'm not an insider. I only know as much as you probably already know. I just want to voice and talk about what I think is going on with hockey and who I see as great players or great goalies. I'm a goalie, so I'm obviously it's even easy for me to talk about goalies and who I thought's like an underdog or improve the most. But I just love watching the game as itself. So I'm definitely going to be talking lots about everything hockey related. But yeah. So another couple of things I just want to run through. So like the goals of my this podcast is just to like allow like more people like there's so much hockey content but I just love listening to it all and I imagine there's a lot of other people that just love listening about hockey. So my goal is if I can just reach out to more people and doing this as a solo podcast, it's going to be very difficult, but i I want to see if I can bring something new and entertaining to people. Well, not new because solo podcast is different, but something like it's more challenging. I love challenging myself, so you know, like bear with me. Some of it might like you might get a little annoyed of me at times, but and I also want this to where you guys as listeners can go to my Instagram at Beer League Rebound, and you can message me on there, and we can talk hockey. And just I personally love talking any sorts of hockey, from equipment to players, NHL, beer league, everything related towards it. I'm a huge fan of it, and so I'm down to talk hockey if any of like anyone who's listening to this, and really grow this into something that I'm proud of. Like I said, I've the reason why the name is Beer League Rebound is I'm a beer league guy, and there's lots of my other friends are, and we're all a bunch of rebounds, just having fun with the game. So that's some of my goals for this podcast is to have some fun with this and reach new people and talk about the sport more. I also am trying to I'm also trying to get into fashion a bit. I love the idea of having my own brand. So I live in Alberta, gorgeous province, nothing but the best outdoor rinks around me. So I had to go with the mountains for my logo, and that's where hockey started on outdoor rinks, and I get the privilege of driving like a couple hours on the road and going and playing on some of the like best, no, well, not best, but like the best sceneries for hockey, and that's a lot of fun. So I've just I love the idea of being able to build something of my own and watching it be successful. So that this is kind of like a little rundown of like what my goals are with Beer League Rebound as like it's a whole and what I plan on doing. I do have a YouTube channel. Realized that I suck at editing videos, and that's something I need to work on. So I won't be posting for a while. And I realized I also look horrible in video and that. So I don't know if I'm going to post any of it, but I do have a channel. So I'll keep you guys up to date on stuff like that. A little more about myself. I took, I've gone on my other friend's podcast. You you want it, bud, or you want it? It's with Isaac and Aiden, two friends of mine. They go to Olds College, and I went to Olds College a year before them, 2 years before them. I went from 2016 2018, and I graduated with a major diploma in sports management with a business certificate. And right now, I'm currently at SAIT working on my major in management with a business diploma. So I'm really trying to get into this business side of hockey. We'll see if it all works out, but a little more insider on to myself and what I'm doing to try and achieve these goals. And a big shout out to all those guys. And I got to go on their podcast, learn a little bit from them, and they kind of inspired me to do stuff like this and just, have a voice to talk about because there never can be enough hockey content. Let's be a little honest. My episodes will be shorter than theirs, just as I mentioned, I'm a solo podcast. So we got to see how long I can talk for without, driving you guys nuts or drive myself nuts or myself repeating. So, a little getting into news. we can talk about. So, as we all know, coronavirus or COVID 19 is sweeping the world like crazy right now. It's actually very sad of what's happening. And, all sports aside, I really hope that everyone is, practicing social distancing, washing hands, and, taking care of others, because the sooner we can, you know, slow down the spread, flatten the curve, however you want to put it, the quicker we can hopefully get back to our normal lives. And by normal lives, I mean like whatever you had going on beforehand. A couple of things I want to talk about, though. It's you see a lot of negative in this, but and so have I, and I've been battling mentally a lot with, you know, feeling like you lose everything, but you really haven't. So this virus can kind of put in perspective like how grateful we are for everything that we have going on. How much of a privilege it was to go out to games and watch hockey and do all this, like any athletic sports. And now you got to realize that that was all a want. It wasn't a need. As much as I felt like I need it right now, it's a want. And being able to spend time with my family right now, really reflect on everything. It's tough, but I think it's good, and I think everyone kind of needed it. I think this is a good way for everyone to just kind of take a break. It sucks that this is the way, but hopefully we can all start looking at this as a kind of a positive, and get to know your families better instead of just getting to know the upcoming NHL players and who's dominating. Maybe it might be nice for some people to kind of get that connection. So I know I've been enjoying it. It definitely has its moments at times, but that's like anything else in life. Hang out with family constantly, but you love them, and it's nice to know that they're always there for you and to support you, and yeah, it's just a good feeling. So let's just take some positive from this virus, and as negative as it is and all that, let's just everyone do their part, and hopefully if everyone starts doing their part, we can get back to watching hockey. So with this virus, though, there's not much hockey news. So everyone's probably saying, "Hey, Bryce, why are you studying a hockey podcast now?" Well, since I have no school and I can't go to school and I'm doing online classes, I have a lot more free time, as I've learned. So now, as bad as it sounds, it's like the time for me to start putting more of my heart and soul into this brand, which I've been working on the side, but I just got so busy with all my work of hockey, going to the rink and everything else that I couldn't put my full attention into it. So hopefully now I can kind of get a start on it, maybe get some feels from people, and see how everything goes. But of course, since as mentioned, there's no real hockey news to talk about. At least going playoff wise, there's been a couple of signings and stuff like that, but I'm gonna save that type of stuff for my next episode, so we can kind of talk about that. I guess this episode is just kind of an intro talking about the virus and what it's all done. The next episode we can kind of get more in depth of hockey talk, and maybe I'll talk about some beer league stories I got, and see whatever few listeners I have for the service, what everyone else wants. But so with this virus, some of the news, the CHL just announced yesterday that there's going to be no playoffs at all. Yeah. So WHL, QMJHL, and OHL, there's going to be no champion for those playoffs. Everyone is now done for the year, and you kind of saw it coming, especially with like NCAA is canceling all their sporting events, and all across the world canceling everything, trying giving those guys a playoff chance. I think the biggest thing that sucks right now is I couldn't imagine being a 20-year-old and not realizing you played your last game at that level, at that junior level. You dedicate so much time, getting to know these guys, and it kind of would feel like you just got it all taken away. Like, I couldn't imagine me getting my last midget game taken away from me. And I like I said before, I suck. So it's not like I had everyone counting on me going in the playoffs like how some of these guys did. Now these guys don't even get a chance to shine more, and they didn't get that chance, that sense of closure within playing our last games because they didn't even realize it. So I think that's the really sad part about all that. Obviously, like I said before, like there's a lot of sadder stuff going on in the world right now, but I'm looking at this from as a player's perspective, as you didn't get that chance to finish what you started. And like most of us, that's a very like tough thing to deal with. At least personally me, like that's a very tough thing to deal with. And this is, we don't know what's going to happen with some of these guys in their upcoming futures with the professional game, or what's going to happen. So it's very tough, I imagine, but we just got to work with what they got right now because of everything going on, which is you know not much we can do, but it's some type of hockey news that we can talk about. The NHL though, they're still trying to have playoffs go in the summer, and they've been looking at booking ice in August. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I just don't see how well this is going to work. Reasons being, how do you get your guys mentally ready again for to come hop back in and get ready in that playoff mentality to start playing after this type of a break? And you're going into summer now where there's going to be no ice time. There's going to be ice time, but the NHL is going to face so many challenges to keeping this ice cool and not it melting essentially. Like it's, you have these guys flying up and down the ice for 20 minutes game, and you're playing in San Jose, or sorry, not San Jose, because they weren't even making playoffs, but you're playing somewhere hot, and like what type of effects they're gonna have on the ice surface, and that's gonna be hard for those ice crews to try and keep that ice at the level it's been throughout a year, keeping it consistent for these guys. Like that's gonna be pose a huge challenge, and I don't know how they think the players can be able to work with that. But I mean, they are professionals, and this is kind of like their job and why they're paid for. I understand all that, but once again, looking at that player aspect, that's gonna be so difficult. Like you just is you got to look at all this negative stuff going on right now. You're trying to take care of everyone. You have no access to, you can't even go to a gym right now and properly train. And then when you're able to go back, you're getting tossed in essentially with the Wolves, and the Wolves being, bad ice and body not up to the proper condition because, everyone's been snacking on their quarantine snacks and eating a little more than you should. I know I personally have. And I'm already a bigger guy, but I mean, it's hard not to. You get bored. Like I'll work out, get bored, and eat, and it's like, God damn it, Bryce, what are you doing? Like you're defeating the purpose right now. But it's hard to, and you go from that such busy mentality to just slowing right down. So I don't know how this is gonna work out for these guys. I imagine it's gonna be a very tough challenge, but it's going to be kind of interesting if they do pull this off to see how these professional athletes, how they work. Like you've been seeing the home workouts and all that, and it's going to be crazy to see how some of these guys will be able to bounce back in. And is it going to be very hard to bounce back in, or is it going to be easy to bounce back in? I saw in the news that for the Major League Baseball that they want another spring training before the regular season starts. And I don't know how they're going to pull out. They're going to have to cut into their regular season games if they want that, because they have to play how many games within a season. And that's another thing of the NHL is they talked about how they still want to keep 82 games for next year. So you're gonna have these guys go into playoffs in August, give them like a month break, and then October rolls around and the season starts again, just so they can play. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, I'm not saying like they need like another like summer vacation from like September to November, but like there's got to be something. You got to get your new players in check and figure out what you're going to do with the draft and everything else. So that's just, I think that's going to be like a very messy situation. All of this is going to be a very messy situation regardless of what happens, but I just don't see how, as tough as this, it's for me to say, because there's nothing else to be cooler than watching hockey on a patio drinking some beers in August. But as a, you know, I don't know how they're going to be able to make this work effectively with, and this, like, obviously there's going to be so many problems with it, but how tough is this is to say, I think canceling it for the rest of the year, which is, that sucks, and it's very hard to say, because, you got guys like, Patrick Marleau, who just got over to the Penguins, and they're trying for one last kick at the can. I don't know if he's playing next year or what's all going on with that, but guys like that, and just another block into that situation for guys like that. But this is like I just keep stressing, this is something totally out of our control, and health is a huge thing, and it's the most important thing right now. Anyone listening to this, make sure you are thanking any local nurses, any nurses online, Twitter, everything like that. Those guys have been working their tails off. People at grocery stores, police officers, like everyone who's an essential worker right now. Just big shout out to all you guys for everything you're doing and keeping this world kind of go round right now. You guys are able to allow me to still be at home sitting on my couch and talking about hockey. That's not happening while you guys are taking care of lives. That's absolutely unreal, and you guys deserve the Stanley Cup, if anything. And any other championship that's gotten postponed, you guys deserve all those championships, because the work you guys are doing right now, it's absolutely crazy. So, and the hours you have to put in and everything else. So once again, thank you to all of you for your work and contributing in your hours, everything else. But so back to hockey. So we talked about how tough this is for players mentally. Um, maybe get back into the game and challenges with the ice. And I like I I personally don't see this working out that well. I personally don't. And it's tough. There's so much. Well, we also just learned that the NHL sounds like it's a paycheck to paycheck league, because they just cut a lot of front offices salaries. So that's kind of getting scary. So I can see why they don't want to cut out any potential games, because that's so much money to be made for the league. But I mean, you got to look at it like, how are you gonna be able to make this work with the short amount of time we have? Like, they're saying this virus stuff, at least for over here in Canada, could take up to potentially May and all that. So, that's, unless something hopefully here happens in this next couple of weeks and stuff starts drastically changing. Like, Wuhan went from like closing down completely in January, and they're just about to open like April 7th again. And we haven't even hit the worst part of it yet. So I don't know what's going to happen for us. And at least like for the NBA, that's also going to be kind of tough as well, because they're going to have to, still play in August as well. But at least, like, they're on a court, no ice. Like, they have the same challenges of mentally preparing. And, now they got to ensure that all their athletes are safe, because, well, NHL players, like 2 players from Ottawa Senators have tested positive for the virus, and then I forget how many from the NBA, but you got to make sure like everyone's safe and like this stuff's not getting contained. And August sounds like it's far away, but it's really not. It just seems far away right now because no one has anything to do besides sit at home and dwell on the fact that we don't have any sports or anything like that. So it's going to be interesting how all these professional leagues handle this, and it's going to be stressful times, that's for sure, for them. But it's you know it is what it is. That's the only way we can put it. And so I think another factor I want to bring in is so me working for the Calgary Royals this year, absolutely great time. I do gotta say though, I feel especially bad for the one Royals team, Gold. They're in the same level as us. For the Royals, there's three Double A Bantam teams. We are the white team, but I gotta give a. I feel so bad for this Gold team. They had a very good season all year long. Actually, all the Royals teams did really well this year, and it was great to see. And the Royals Gold, they won cities, and they also had, like everywhere else, had to get their provincials taken away, and that is, at that age as well, is so tough. Like anyone who's going through this right now, it's extremely tough. So I just want to say, like, as we got to look at all the positives, but it's okay to feel like kind of down on it, like stuff like that, because everyone works so hard all year long. All the parents driving their kids to all these games and all that, like, and seeing you get taken away, it sucks. But health is more important. I feel like I'm talking about this lots. Sorry. Um, I'm so with me running a solo podcast. I've been writing down ideas to talk about, but feel free to message me on any stuff to talk about. Um, I want to try and get on some guests on here and tell some stories and all that. I like the idea of trying to keep this solo for the first bit. We'll see how it works and all that. But I think it's kind of fun, just myself talking and doing it all. I think it's a blast. So we'll see how this all works out. But yeah. So not much going on in the hockey world minus this virus stuff, and yeah, I guess it even sucks that my own beer league games got canceled. I didn't get a chance to go win my championship. Boys were looking hot too. Well, actually, we weren't looking that hot, but no, I was. It's actually kind of fun being like the young guy on the team because I'm able to play half decent for beer league, and so they kind of like it's kind of funny watching them play with me and all that, and the jokes they crack, and you know they 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 can understand there's someone young back there, so they're like, it's okay, like no back checking or anything like that. So it's kind of funny, getting to play with the guys like that, and I have such a good group for beer league and all that. And I think the hardest thing about all this is like, not being able to go like see your friends and like go see your teammates and stuff like that. And there's so much, like we were supposed to have a tournament coming up in May, summer season, 3-on-3 hockey. Like I was stoked because, like I said, I have a lot more fun doing this business stuff, but there is no better feeling in the summer than going to a rink with your sandals on and shorts. That is honestly one of the hockey is an all year long sport. I like playing hockey more in the summer. I realize now than the winter. It's 10 times better. I don't care who you are. Yeah, the outdoor rink's fun. I love being close to the mountains and all that. It's a great time. But there is no better feeling than wearing sandals to the rink. You can't even at me at that because it's true. You feel so free. You get off the ice and you go outside, and the wind's not hurting your face. It's the sun's still up at 10 o'clock as you're loading your vehicle of your stuff, and parking lot beers are going on. It's so nice. So Hopefully that will still all happen. Where, like I said, if everyone's still social distance and we can kind of get this, under control, we might all still get that summer, or a piece of that summer at least. That'd be nice. I know personally, I'm missing the rink a little hard right now. As I mentioned before, I kind of I use the rink as like my own like therapy session, and by therapy session, it's just a way to escape, life and anything that's going on. And my only goal for like an hour is to stop a rubber thing from going in a net. Super simple. Well, there's a lot behind it, but the idea of it's just to have fun and get away. So kind of having that like not being able to go and do that right now, it's definitely mentally challenging at times. Uh, just I got to find different ways to keep my mind, busy, and yeah, well, not busy. Sorry, but in other ways, I got to learn to relax my mind, because usually when I'm at home to sleep, watch some Netflix, eat some food, and that's it. That's literally how my life is before. And now I'm at home and stuck at home, and so it's hard to find other things to do minus than just relax and binge watch Netflix. Which comment, if anyone's listening, just tell me what series I should be listening to right now. Clearly, I got some time as the rest of you. I Before this all happened, I was watching The Office again. Got done entire Office series. I think I could rewatch The Office though, but if there's something else to watch, I'll watch. I will consider watching it. If I don't like it though, I'm going back to The Office regardless. I think I can watch that series 100 more times and not get sick of it. It's so good. But so yeah, I think this is gonna wrap up actually my first episode. I'm gonna be over a half hour with this, so it's been fun. I have a lot to improve on. But yeah, so anyone, give me some suggestions. Message my Instagram, message me. I'm doing this all on the Anchor app. So but yeah, message me on more hockey ideas to talk about. Hopefully, next episode I'll have some more hockey news and less negative news of less stuff about the virus. But that probably still will be a huge factor into it and all that. But hopefully, I'll get some stories going. And yeah, so just let me know how this went. And thank you everyone for listening to the first Beer League Rebound episode. Uh, Hope some of you message me. All right, thanks for listening.